I play a game with myself. I pretend that I'm an angel here on earth to do good in the lives of people I touch. Neil Donald Walsh, the great spiritual philosopher, said, if you truly want to transform your life, don't make your life about you. Rather, make your life about the lives of everyone you touch. I love that quote. And so that's the game I play. I pretend I'm an angel. So even if I meet someone, I treat them in the most beautiful way. Even if we break up, I treat them in the most beautiful, incredible, honest, truthful way that almost every person who comes into my life ends up being a close friend. Every woman I've loved is still connected to me, and they still love me, and I still am so there for them and love them back because of this beautiful, conscious way in which we approach love, sex, and even a breakup.
Welcome to Modern Enlightenment, a sanctuary for your soul, where we'll go on a path of personal and spiritual development. I'm Austin Mao.
And I'm Chuchu Wang. We are your companions on this journey of self-discovery and spiritual connection.
Join us as we delve into the fusion of modern psychotherapy, neuroscience, psychospirituality, and shamanic plant sacrament ceremonies, exploring the transformative potential of psychedelics for the mind, body, and spirit.
Our mission is to guide you to a place of profound awareness where emotions can be felt.
Together, let's illuminate the way to a brighter, more enlightened existence.
Modern Enlightenment, where your journey to inner peace begins.
Welcome to another episode of Modern Enlightenment. I'm Austin. I'm joined by my dear friend, Vishen Lakhiani.
Hi, Austin.
Founder of Mindvalley, best-selling author of multiple books, creator of the 6-phase meditation method, and all-around teacher. Thank you for being here.
It's so good to be interviewed by someone I consider a really good friend.
Beautiful. So I remember we met on the playa at Burning Man.
In the most bizarre way, right?
Yeah, in the most bizarre way. I remember you said that you were lost. Would you like to relate the story?
Yeah, so the story is kind of crazy, as many Burning Man stories are. So I am a big proponent of intuition. I got my start in personal growth teaching the protocols by Jose Silva, the Silva Method and Silva Ultramind, which are protocols to help you access altered states through meditation, through mastery of meditation. And while in these altered states, tap into an intuitive understanding of the world. And while in these altered states, dive into intuition to help you find answers and guidance, but also apply your mind to manifesting, whether it's health or goals or getting clear on something that you want to bring into your life. And so I naturally listen to my intuition and tap into my intuition on a daily basis. It's how I've created multiple companies. It's how I've done what I've done. It's how I've written 3 best-selling books. So I'm at the playa at Burning Man. It's the final night of the burn. And if you don't know Burning Man, it's this massive 11 or 12 day long festival in the desert in the United States, and 75,000 people attend. It's absolutely massive. And the final night is the most significant night when there's a statue of a man, a wooden man, and they burn the statue and fireworks and drone shows go on behind it. And it's absolutely a sight to behold. And it's something that you want to witness with people you care about, with friends, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm there trying to connect with one friend in one Burning Man camp, and then drive back, meet up with other friends, and then drive to the center of the burn together. And this crazy sandstorm, I can't find my friend in Camp A, so I go back to Camp B to get into my caravan and meet up with my buddies Peter and Jeffrey. I can't find them because everyone is lost in the sandstorm. Mm-hmm. And so I accept the fact that Peter and Jeffrey had left without me to go watch the man burn, and there are 75,000 people in a circle watching the man burn, and there's absolutely no way I'm going to bump into them. And so I'm sad. I don't want to be alone on this beautiful experience. So Burning Man in the desert is filled with various art installations. And I find this little art installation that looks like a space hut, like a hut if you'd colonized a planet. And it's empty. And I go there and I just sit there and I'm just being miserable. And I'm meditating. I'm annoyed that I've lost my friends. I'm annoyed at the sandstorm, and I'm annoyed at Burning Man. I'm just annoyed all along because I was so looking forward to this experience. So as I'm there meditating, trying to calm the heck down, I suddenly hear a voice. And in moments where intuition is most speaking to me, I hear a voice. Often it's like a thought, but here I hear a voice, and the voice says, now is not the time to meditate. And I tell that voice, go away. I just want to sit here and be whiny. And the voice goes, get up and start walking now. So I'm like, I don't want to walk forever. I just walked for like 1 hour. I didn't meet anyone I know. And the voice said, in 10 minutes, you will meet someone you know. How precise was that? So I get up and I start walking. And the voice is guiding me. It's saying, go straight, turn left now. It is the most bizarre experience. So I'm walking, I turn left, and I bump into Mindvalley author Keith Ferrazzi, who teaches a lot about business, leadership programs. And Keith's there, like, with glow sticks around his neck, in this, like, feathery pink vest, the most beautiful pink pants, and he's just, like, being Keith. I absolutely adore the guy. And next to Keith is you. And that's how we connect. And you and I instantly strike it off. There are around 20 people in Keith's circle. And I tell Keith, I lost my friends. Can I hang out with you guys? And they go, sure, welcome. This is Austin. This is so-and-so. This is so-and-so. But you and I instantly connect. And we immediately become friends. And since then, in the span of 18 months, we attended 5 festivals together. Now 6, all because of a crazy voice in my head that guided me to new friendships.
What really strikes me is that normally if people are talking about crazy voices in their head, most people would write these people off.
Right.
And yet, when I first met you, you introduced yourself as Vishen.
Right.
I heard Vision, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. A really cool playa name, Burning Man name, right? That this guy's Vision. I didn't even know what Mindvalley was at that time. And then afterwards, a few months later, you invited me to an event in LA for your birthday.
Right.
Yeah. I think it was called Vishen Live. And I was like, oh, it's actually Vishen with a H-E-N.
Right.
Right. And when I went there, I remember you sharing a philosophy that you have that you've now encoded into a book about the Buddha and the badass. And I remember you saying, if you look at the great avatars of the world, like Jesus Christ, they weren't sitting idle in a cave. They were changing the world. They were spiritual badasses, right? And when I heard that, it was in the context of you invoking, inspiring other people to rise up and be spiritual badasses. Yeah. And so as I sit here with you, I recognize the synchronicity of that. It's a projection of some internal value of your own to be listening to yourself and really let out your spiritual badass. And so what's really cool, hearkening back to the story, is that you're listening to this intuition. I heard you say that your intuition, when it's loudest, you hear it as an actual voice. And that intuition seems to have guided you to not only internal success, the second mountain, but external success, like a very successful company, a very impactful company, etc. I'm so curious, like, how did you develop not only the intuition, but your capacity to listen to the intuition? So many people hear voices and they discount, they mute that voice. But how did you listen to it? And how did you take the courage to follow it? Like, how did you become that Vishen?
So I got into intuition through a book called the Silva Mind Control Method. And I think it was published in 1977. And it was the work of Jose Silva. Jose Silva was a mind science pioneer from Laredo, Texas. And he was part of the U.S. Army. And he shares a story about how when he was enrolling in the Army, they put him through a psychologist who got him interested in psychology that led him to study hypnosis. And he started using hypnosis as a way to get his 10 young kids into altered states so that they could do better at school. But while he was hypnotizing his kids, and this is where the story gets freaking bizarre, so I hope your audience has an open mind. So Silva would put his kids in an altered state, in other words, get them super relaxed as a hypnotist do, and then tell them, you're a good learner, you're a fast learner, and then sometimes he would read them important facts that they had to know for an exam, because when you're in a relaxed state of mind, you remember better, right? This has been scientifically proven. When your brain waves go to the alpha level, you absorb information, and if you can go back into the alpha level during an exam, you can spew out the information more effectively. And then something curious happened. He had a daughter called Isabella, and he would form a question in his head to ask Isabella. But before he could formulate the question, verbally say the question, before he could say, for example, with his voice, who's the 16th president of the United States, Isabella would answer Abraham Lincoln. He was like, what the hell is going on? He was a devout Christian, so he thought, this is crazy, this is scary, but he continued to investigate it. And he found that he could do it with other children as well, his own children. So he wrote to the ESP researcher, J.B. Ryan at Duke University. Have you ever seen the movie Ghostbusters? You know, the opening movie, Bill Murray's character is doing this little test on people. He's holding up cards and they have to guess what's at the back of the card. That's called a Zener test. And J.B. Ryan was the professor at Duke University who pioneered that approach. And he found that certain people had the ability to guess these cards significantly higher than probability. And he coined the term ESP, extrasensory perception. So Jose Silva wrote to J.B. Ryan and he said, something weird is going on. My kids seem to have ESP. I seem to have trained them. And Ryan said, nope, you're either born with it or not. You cannot train someone to do it. Jose Silva didn't believe Ryan. So he went on, trained his kids, his other kids, and then trained the neighbors' kids. And then as these kids, their grades started going up and stories started emerging, the neighbors, the adults came to him and he trained the adults as well. And soon a concept called the Silva Method, or in Spanish, Método Silva, emerged. And it blew up and blew up. It was written about all around the press. And at its peak in the 80s in the United States, I think they were doing like hundreds of thousands of people were going through classes every month. It was unbelievable. The book became a bestseller. There are, from what I know, 6 to 8 million Silva graduates worldwide. Jose died in 1999. Before he died, he further amplified his work to develop better protocols for training intuition. And I took his class when I was working in Silicon Valley in 2001, and his class changed my life. I was working in sales, and I developed an intuitive approach to making sales. I would know what leads to call and what leads to ignore. And as soon as I took that class, in 1 week, I doubled my sales closing rate. Because rather than just waste time with a lead, I would get a gut, ignore this lead. I'd get another gut hunch, call this guy. And my sales doubled overnight. No change in my sales approach, in my protocol, in my script. It just doubled overnight. So that was mind-blowing for me. So I became a big advocate of listening to intuition. It helped me write 3 best-selling books. It helped me start a company with 400 employees, over 150 million in revenue, 0 venture capital, 0 bank loans, just profitable from the get-go. That company, of course, is Mindvalley. It's helped guide me to many of the most amazing people in the world, including you. But I have at least 50 stories of instances I have met people in the same way I met you, through a hunch, through, being invited to a dinner party and I'm saying, I don't want to go. And then something tells me, just go. And I meet this most incredible person. It's even saved my life. I was driving a car one day and this song, My Humps, from the Black Eyed Peas come on. And the lyrics were like hilarious. And I'm so obsessed with the lyrics of this song, My Humps. And I'm singing along and I'm not paying attention to the road. And I hear a voice like there's someone in the back seat. And the voice says, watch the road now. So immediately I pay attention to the road. On my right is a truck. This is in Malaysia, so people drive on the other side of the street. The truck hits the car in front of it. The car flips up, lands in front of me, and I just have enough time to brake. And I avoid what could have been a really horrid collision. A voice saved me. And so my intuition has been this guiding light, like steering me to the right people, steering me to the right business opportunities, potentially even saving my life. And that's what I learned.
Wow. I remember you sharing about the Silva Method on stage, and you not only became a proponent of it, you became the ambassador.
Exactly. So after Jose Silva died in 1999, several years later, his family asked me to continue his work. And so I took over. Silva Ultramind is the newest version of the work. I teach it. It's a new course created in 2017. It's available completely digitally. So it used to be seminars, but during COVID, we turned it to a digital thing. It's about 18 hours. You do 30 minutes a day. 20 to 30 minutes a day for about 4 weeks. And it trains you to become functionally intuitive.
And I remember as you were speaking up to this, you were speaking to the neuroscience of it, right? Alpha wave states,
Right.
gamma wave states, etc.
Mhm.
And I'm curious, was that part of Silva originally, or is that something you added?
No, that's part of Silva originally. I mean, alpha, beta, theta waves, they've been around for at least 100 years. Gamma was discovered, I believe, in 1903 by Harvard scientists. But alpha, beta, and theta was part of Jose's original work.
Right. This podcast is titled Modern Enlightenment.
Right.
The idea that we now have modern tools to hit these extraordinary states of consciousness that 100 years ago, you would have had to meditate for decades on end to even just tap, right? And what's crazy is to hear voices in your head that can save your life and lead you to build a company making 150 million, like this is trainable now. Yeah. And it seems to me, the story that I have is that not only do you have this in your bat belt, you have so many other tools that you've used to enhance not just your intuition or the effects of your intuition to business, et cetera, but also your relationships and your spirituality. And so I'd love to just know, particularly in spirituality, a lot of people that I meet that are coaches or teachers, they aspire to make money, right? And have impact at the same time. And something that I notice is there's often a program underneath where it's like, I have to choose one or the other, be spiritual and make impact, or make money and sell my soul. And what I remark in you is that you not only did not have to choose
Right.
A or B, that A supports B and B supports A,
Right.
right? And what's that like for you to like walk that path? And I also think to teach that path too.
Well, I think in the Western Hemisphere, which is currently the wealthiest part of the world, in the past generations, there has been, as people got able to survive and live, right, comfortably. You look at Europe, you look at the United States, people have a relatively higher standard of living than in China, India, Africa, or the Middle East or Southeast Asia. But in these cultures, there's also developed in the past couple of decades a twisted idea around money, that money is somehow bad, that being rich is dishonorable or that you cheated, that money can be the root of all evil, you need hard work to make money. Now, these are all beliefs. But the funny thing about life is what we believe to be true will be true for us. Now, I grew up in a relatively Western household. The only language I speak is English. My parents were all British educated. My mom was a school teacher. My dad worked in a department store. And we had this belief as well. I believed rich people were bad because that was a prevailing belief. I believed that you had to work really hard to make money. What we believe about the world becomes true to us. It's called the expectancy effect. So if you have corrupt beliefs about money, you will always find it hard to attract money. But if you believe making money is easy, money is good, money allows me to be generous, money allows me to provide, money is my natural state of well-being, you will find making money easier. Now, in my case, what happened is I was one of those broke spiritual teachers. Because of this conflict between spirituality and money, which is part of a wider conflict between spirituality and the material world, people often have a hard time putting these two together. To be spiritual means to be content. To be spiritual means to focus more on inner development and healing the world than enjoying the world. But none of this is really true unless you want it to be true. So there's a great essay by Ken Wilber called Egolessness. Ken Wilber is the most cited academic in modern times, right? A friend of mine, his courses are on Mindvalley. He developed a concept called integral vision, which is an integrated way using integrated philosophies, a way to understand the world. So Wilber says the great spiritual sages and mystics of the world were not feeble-minded milquetoast. They were ego plus. They were movers and shakers who rattled the world with the force of their ambition, from bullwhips in the temple, as Jesus did, to subduing entire continents like Muhammad. They shook and rattled the world with the force of their ego. And he was referring to Padmasambhava, to Moses, to Christ, to Muhammad, to the Buddha. All of them were change makers. Think about it. The Buddha incited social revolutions to change the nature of his society so there was a lower gap between the rich and the poor. Jesus, he shook the Roman Empire. They had to kill him because that's how powerful this man had become. Muhammad subdued entire continents, and before Europe became the wealthiest part of the modern era, between 600 and 1400, Europe was a relative backwater. The wealthiest parts of the world were the Muslim Empire, which also at that point included India. The Muslim Empire was the wealthiest, most advanced level of the world. Algebra, these concepts come from Islam, right? The writings of the ancient Greeks were preserved by the Muslims and then brought to Europe. Europeans don't learn that in their history as much as they should. All of these spiritual badasses help create the modern world. They were not, in Wilber's words, feeble-minded milquetoast. I love that word, feeble-minded milquetoast. Wilber, he is so direct. So,
what does milquetoast mean?
milquetoast. It means boring.
Okay.
Right? It just means boring, like toast dipped in milk.
Okay.
So that's what he meant. And what he's really saying is that you can be spiritual and a badass. That essay inspired my book, The Buddha and the Badass, which is a book about how to bring spiritual concepts into work so that you can truly make a difference and make money. Because money is good. Money is glorious. Money allows you to improve your life and the lives of others. Money is a simple amplifier of who you are. If you're a horrid person, you do horrid things with money. If you're a good person, as most spiritual teachers are, you're going to do good things with money. But I didn't realize that. So the first 5 years of building up my business, I was freaking broke. I was living in a bedroom in my parents' house. And then one day, I attend this seminar called The Millionaire Mind Intensive by a writer called Harv Eker. He is famous for a book called Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. First day of the seminar, he puts down a list on PowerPoint of common beliefs that hold you back from wealth. And I started bawling my eyes out as I read that list because I had that belief. To be wealthy means you'll become an asshole. I had the belief you got to work hard to make money. I had tons of these beliefs. And by the end of that 3-day seminar, a lot of those beliefs were quashed. In the next 1 year, my company grew 400%. We were just barely breaking even. It grew 400%. And Mindvalley, that we know it today, was born. You see, when you strip your mind out, strip your mind of these insidious beliefs that hold you back from wealth, your life transforms, and it transforms dramatically. We self-sabotage and we don't even know it. So I meet so many spiritual teachers who are doing such good work, but they're undercharging or they can't figure out, they're afraid to market themselves. And that's a pity because that good work is suppressed and their lives are suppressed. I think if you're a spiritual teacher, you need to learn how to make money because you are going to use that money to do, oh my God, the best, most incredible things for the planet.
That's really beautiful. You know, before I entered into spiritual facilitation in the way that I do it, I was an entrepreneur, right? And I was quite good at making money.
Right.
I was quite good at making money and making time and making freedom, but I didn't have a compass.
Yeah.
I didn't have a purpose, a direction that I was orienting my energy towards. And so no matter the amount of material wealth that I accumulated, I felt meaningless in my life. Then I found spirituality and the pendulum kind of swung the other way. And I was like, okay, now I have tremendous meaning and I let go of my material desires. And then I started losing a lot of money. But I was like, oh, whatever, no big deal. I've got God. And now as I look at not only money being a precursor to impact, right? The path to make money also challenges my spiritual being, right? It challenges me to make clear decisions, to make aligned decisions, to be in a place of self-inquiry and in a self-growth. And you know what this reminds me of is I heard gratefulness defined as recognition of value in something, right? That you've received value from some experience, let's say, right? Whether that be eating a dinner with a good friend or the sun's rays on your eyes or love that you have. And money is also a measurement of value. That's all that is. Otherwise, it's just a sheet of paper or numbers on a screen, right? It's a measurement of value. So there's some link between money and gratitude that's available if we really tune in and apply that energy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so it's so important. And you touched on something really important here. Money plus spirituality is what we want to go for. Okay. Or money plus goodness, because you can be making a ton of money and you can be an absolute dick, right? You can be,
I know some.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And before I started Mindvalley, I worked for a company that did software sales. And there were so many salespeople in that company who were just absolute jerks. I mean, we're talking cocaine-fueled parties. We're talking the company that I worked in, I ultimately had to quit because I reported another guy in the company for sexual harassment. And he came and threatened me in the most racist way because I was one of the few non-white people in the company. I complained to my boss. This guy was a sexual harasser. He was a racist. My boss said, I'm not going to fire him. He brings in twice as much revenue as you do, Vishen, respectfully. Right? Now, that's when the love for money has gotten a little bit on the corrupt side. That's when I quit that company and I decided, look, I want to build a business on powerful principles. Yes, I want to make money, but it has to be on principles of taking care of your employees, doing good for the world, elevating humanity. That's why I went into education because Mandela said, you want to change the world? Change education. So you got to have both. Otherwise, there's this dangerous permutation that can happen if you live life simply for the quest for money. Do both. Love money, but love humanity.
I really love that you brought in Mandela and education being the way that we change the world. You know, as I go and seek to create impact, my impact is very limited as a facilitator. As I go into teacherhood and teaching practitioners to then create their own impact, then that's magnified.
Right.
What you've done is you've created a platform for teachers. That's another kind of abstraction out, another layer out of creating impact. And what led you to see the market need there? And was there a voice in your head, an intuition in your head of like how to step into that?
Well, I was just in love with the transformation I had gone through. I was working for this horrendous company.
This was in 2001.
Yeah. Okay. I was working for this horrendous company with horrible culture, like downright ruthless. I was burning out. My health was going to shit. I was about to spiral into a depression because horrible culture can do that to you. I was witnessing some of the worst of humanity in corporate America. And that's when I happened to decide I wanted to go back to, when I was young, I was really into Silva Method, Maxwell Maltz, Wayne Dyer. So I Googled, are there any Silva classes around? And I found Jose Silva's latest program, Silva Ultraman, was being taught in LA. At that point, I was in the San Francisco office. So I flew to LA, took the class in one day, came back to San Francisco, and my life changed. It got me reoriented. It reminded me of the power I had inside. And I was able to just accelerate my growth. I couldn't leave the company because I wasn't an American national. So my visa was tied to the company. Otherwise, I would have quit and gotten a better job.
Wow.
I couldn't. I was stuck. If I quit that company, I would have to leave the United States. So I stayed 18 months. And in that 18 months, I became one of the top performers in the company. And in that 18 months, I slowly built up Mindvalley on nights and weekends. When Mindvalley was at a level where it could provide for me and I didn't have to worry about a salary, that's when I quit.
Wow.
But that 18 months, I became one of the top employees in the company. I was 400% above my sales quota because I was using my intuition.
We recently had Adam Roa on this podcast, and he was just on stage at Mindvalley University talking about the artist and the entrepreneur, two sort of different identities that many people think are polar opposites. Like you're either the starving artist or you're the greedy entrepreneur. And it seems like we're speaking to something very similar here, like this unification of a creative spirit that comes from the desire to project out goodness. I think your words were something like for humanity, right? And something entrepreneurial. And now as I look at Mindvalley and where it's come, like even in the past few years, now there's AI in there.
Yeah.
Like you just led an AI summit here on stage. The world is shifting so much right now. I mean, it really feels like it's accelerating in so many different ways, right? On the one hand, we've got children addicted to screens now. And even with AI, kind of the new fad is having conversation bots that are replacing their real life friends, right? That's happening now. And on the other hand, there's this tool for goodness, for humanity to accelerate. And I'm curious how you're integrating like these forms of acceleration in your life. Do you feel like your life is accelerating personally?
Oh, totally. So Mindvalley teaches you the things that regular education forgot. And right now, spirituality is a big part of Mindvalley. Health and wellness, human connection, relationships, conscious relationships, huge part of Mindvalley. But you know what else is a huge part? Applied artificial intelligence. And I know people may be going, what?
Right.
A company that started out with spiritual roots is now teaching AI. Yeah, because what is IP? What makes us good is the technology of how we teach, right? So we could teach anything. We could teach biology. We can do it better than many of the other institutions out there because of the technology that facilitates that teaching. And the style of teaching, the methodology of teaching, the transformative theory that we put in the teaching. So AI is one of the hottest topics in Mindvalley. Now, why? Mindvalley creates better humans. We are here to make human beings better and better at being human. And what makes us human? Our body, our mind, our soul, our relationships, our career, our contributions to the world. AI helps you improve your career. AI helps you make a bigger contribution to the world when you inject it into your job. And AI buys you time. When I got really good at AI, in 6 months, I freed up Thursdays and Fridays. What took me 5 days of work was now taking me 3 days. I just got so much better because AI was so transformative. And I knew I had to bring this to Mindvalley because if other people could teach this, I mean, imagine what having even an extra day a week would mean to you. More time to go to the gym, more time with your kids, more time to catch up on sleep that your body, really needs. It was transformative. And transformative is what we do.
So what did you do with that extra Thursday and Friday?
Oh, I was able to go deep into creation mode. And because of that, I was able to launch a new company, Mindvalley States, which is a new supplement company, which I'm super excited about. Supplements for precision mood design and an app that connects with the supplements. It's something I'm so excited about. Supplements that give you focus, that help you sleep, that put you in a sensual state to connect with your partner. Supplements that help you relax when you're stressed out. And supplements that can even be used to replace alcohol before you go to a party, to put you in an exhilaration mode, a joyful mode, without the need to poison your body with alcohol. So I'm super excited about that company, but I couldn't have done it if I didn't have the free time created from leveraging AI in my company.
I'm getting this like picture painted more than I already know of you, right? And what I'm getting is the word that's coming to me is holistic, right? You're not just a spiritual monk with a shaved head on a mountaintop. You're integrated into life.
Right.
And using the tools of the modern era to accelerate your projection out into the world of your own values, right? And it seems like even with these Mindvalley states, right, these Mindvalley supplements, that you're supporting people into state change in a felt sense, organic way. We're seeing the world accelerate. You're seeing yourself accelerate. What's your current, what's the edge of your comfort zone that you're exploring right now? What's exciting you in this moment?
Well, so I've gone really deep into personal growth. What I want to do right now to really stretch myself is to take a company IPO. And so the edge of my comfort zone is taking what is already a well-run company, but to get it to be so well-run that we can go public. That will allow us to make an even bigger impact on the world, an even bigger impact on the education system, help elevate more people into incredibly, gorgeously, beautifully transformed human beings. But it's fucking hard. That's why I want to do it. It's one of those mountains I want to climb.
You said making an impact on the education system.
Yeah.
An education system, as I know it in the West, is so ingrained.
Right.
Like there are curriculums that are designed to carry students to a test, being completely meaningless in how it impacts the effectiveness of themselves in the workplace in the future. Right?
Unfortunately, it's so.
Yeah. Or as a healthy, holistic individual. How do you see yourself and Mindvalley leading to the greatest impact in the educational space?
So we're not talking about schools yet, right? I'm sure we'll dabble with schools later. Right now we're talking about adult education, personal growth. That's a huge market. That's a multi-billion-dollar market. Seminars, books, personal growth is a hot topic. And that's what we focus on.
Yeah. I'm really struck by the mission. I have a personal belief system that how we've found our own level of transformation, whether that be through meditation or the Silva Ultramind method or altered states of consciousness, what feels like our dharma is being able to take that and teach that to others, to share that with others.
Right.
And it's a way of us being able to be in our constant state of gratitude because we're constantly in the recognition and the revisiting of what's supported us in changing. And we've heard this tool set of your 6-phase meditation method, of listening to your intuition. What else is in your bat belt? For the sake of modern enlightenment, if our listeners wanted to accelerate their path into being a more holistic individual, other than AI tools.
Yeah. So there's a couple of really amazing methodologies that I've been able to experience over the years. And what I do as Mindvalley is when I experience a seminar or a methodology that's truly transformative, we acquire it. Very often we acquire the company or we acquire the licensing rights and we work with the teachers to make it better. And then we lower the price, right? So one methodology that completely transformed my life was Lifebook. When I attended it in 2010, it was a 4-day seminar that costs $5,000 to attend. We turned it into an online course for $300. So we brought down the price almost 293%, and we got it out to hundreds of thousands of people. So Lifebook is a methodology, and you can find it on Mindvalley, mindvalley.com/Lifebook. It's a methodology that makes you go deep into looking at your life from 12 different dimensions. Most people, for example, in the Western world, we set goals for just a career and a money. But do you have your goals for your relationship? Do you have goals for the type of mom or dad you want to be? Do you have goals for your health? Goals for your emotional states that you experience on a day-to-day basis? Goals for your character, the man or woman you want to be? Goals for your spirituality? Goals for the quality of your life, the environments that you get to live in? People forget these. So Lifebook looks at 12 different dimensions of human life, and you go really deep. And in each dimension, you set a goal, visions, and then you go into the strategy. How do you want to get there? What are the most effective strategies? The program helps you identify the most effective strategies. Then you go into your why, because you must have a why. You want to be healthy? Okay, why? Is it because when you're 90, you want to be able to play with your great-grandchildren? Then you go into your beliefs. This is the tricky one. What are the beliefs you have that are holding you back from living to 100, that are holding you back from being in the most delicious relationship possible, that are holding you back from taking that first step to start your dream company? So Lifebook gets it really clear. And at the end of it, you end up with a book. The book is 100 pages long, but the book is a book of your life, exactly how you want your life to unfold. And it takes a while. It takes about 18 hours minimum. Some people take 22, 23 hours, and it's done over multiple days, of course. But once you get this book down, you become so clear. You become so clear, so connected to your mission, and your life will never be the same again. And you become for lack of a better word, a manifesting machine.
Hmm.
When you start writing this stuff down, magic happens in your life.
The word that's coming to me is intentionality. That's
Yes.
connected to your...
Right. And you've met the founders of Lifebook. I
Yeah,
introduced
John
you
and
guys.
Misty are amazing humans.
Mhm.
And I think they're also representative of manifesting.
Exactly.
They've manifested not only living on a private island in Hawaii, but also a beautiful, connected relationship.
Right.
So, first of all, how often do you revisit your own life book?
I revisit my life book. So I have a marker in my calendar to check one category of my life book every month. So
Wow.
first Saturday of every month will be, okay, I'm going to go and just look at my health and wellness goals and see what do I want to move around. So that's say the first Saturday of February, first Saturday of March, it might be my intellectual life, or goals that relate to learning, to growth, to conferences you want to attend, to experiences you want to have in personal growth, to things such as studying for career growth. So I do it first Saturday of every month.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. And in this podcast so far, we've talked about wealth amply. We've talked about health with Mindvalley States. And I'm curious about relationships. Like, what's in your life book around relationships? And what's the strategy that you've come up with to manifest what you want to manifest?
Oh, the strategy to manifest what I want to manifest.
And by the way, relationships is not just a romantic partner. It's also friendships. And
Right. So I was with the same woman for 19 years, and we're still incredible friends. We have 2 kids together. And I live here in Tallinn, Estonia, because she's Estonian. And she wanted our kids, to go to an Estonian school where they could speak the native language. And I'm all in support for that. And I told her, listen, she had moved for me when we got married. She moved to New York and Malaysia. So after we got divorced, I told her, now it's my turn. You choose where you want to live. I'll move there. So I'm never going to be far from our children. That's how I ended up in Estonia. So I'm going to be here for the next 1 year. Then we are moving to London. And our houses are about 12 minutes apart. So I get to see my kids often. Every day or every other day, at least 6 times a week, I see my children. And we have a great friendship. So after I got divorced, my goals for relationship changed. I didn't want to be in a relationship, but I wanted to date. I wanted to experience a variety of different love affairs. I wanted to experience romance. I wanted to experience mind-blowing sex. I wanted to experience that richness. And now that I've experienced that, I want to find a long-term partner, because I decided I want to have kids again, because I just love being a dad. And my current kids, they're teenagers. My daughter's a preteen. She's going to be 11. My son's going to be 17. And I love them. But, I enjoyed that part where I was a dad and I had a 2-year-old kid, and I was seeing them walk for the first time. And I was pushing them in a pram, as we traveled around the world. I enjoyed that. I want to relive that. And I want to do that with an amazing woman. So those are some of my goals right now. But I'm not just going to rush into the first relationship. I'm blessed that I meet some of the most incredible women in the world. And I want to fine tune what I like, what are my preferences, and I want them to do that too. But eventually I do want to get married again.
It sounds to me like, I imagine that what's happening for you right now is in this sort of exploration of something that you weren't able to do in a long-term marriage, where you're building companies, you're raising children, etc. You're also learning what you enjoy and what you dislike, what resonates with you and what doesn't, right? And I'm wondering, are you hearing voices in your head telling you what's good and not for you?
So I've actually had, am I hearing voices in my head? No. The voices tend to be during really dramatic moments. And during like that time I was about to have a car accident, or at Burning Man. I think Burning Man creates a vortex, an interesting energy vortex, and people tend to have these beautiful experiences at Burning Man. People also have these experiences at Mindvalley events because groups of people are coming together with a spiritual intent. On dating, very often, I find that when I put out an intention of the type of person I want to attract, I attract that person. But sometimes you attract the person, you have a wonderful time, but you realize, okay, there's something there that this person is wonderful, but there's something there that prevents us from further going into a long-term thing. And so you refine your objectives, you refine your goals. So for example, I might refine my goal to, I tried long distance, didn't work for me. So now one of my goals would be someone in the same city that I live in. And those refinements ensure that, because I believe our mind is an attractor, ensure that you start attracting people who are more and more and more right for you.
Incredible. Well, this has been such a juicy podcast. I'm really grateful that I've gotten to know Vishen behind the scenes a little more. And what's becoming more and more clear to me is that Mindvalley as a commercial entity is also a representation of your personal transformational path. Even you just stating that you experience something extraordinary, then you immediately ask, how can I share this with the world?
Right.
How can I make it affordable and accessible to the world? How can I digitize it and AI it and get it into the hands of people? And that seems like it's all stemming from this love of humanity that you're seeking to share, of connecting people.
Love for humanity. That's one of the most important values every human being should have. Love for humanity above love for country, love for religion.
And what I really called to ask you to do right now is if you would be open to recounting what you shared on stage about the angel wings.
The angel wings, yes. So I play a game with myself and I pretend. And again, I'm not delusional. It's just a game. I know I'm pretending. I pretend that I'm an angel. I pretend that I'm an angel here on earth to do good in the lives of people I touch. Neil Donald Walsh, the great spiritual philosopher, said, if you truly want to transform your life, don't make your life about you. Rather, make your life about the lives of everyone you touch. I love that quote. And so that's the game I play. I pretend I'm an angel. So even if I meet someone, if I go on a date with someone, I treat them in the most beautiful way. Even if we break up, I treat them in the most beautiful, incredible, honest, truthful way that almost every person who comes into my life ends up being a close friend. So, we met at Burning Man and we've gone on so many adventures together because we treat each other with such respect. Every woman I've loved is still connected to me and they still love me and I still am so there for them and love them back because of this beautiful, conscious way in which we approach love, sex, and even a breakup. And that's just how I live my life because I pretend I am an angel and that I am here to, in any way I can, help elevate the people I care about. Employees, my executive team, the entrepreneurs whose companies I invest in, the women I love, the friends I have, my family members, and so on.
Well, beautiful. I want to thank you as a friend for being an angel to me. The times that we've sat together at the dinner table at your beautiful home, connected on the playa in a dust storm.
Yeah.
And it's been beautiful to be in your energy. I remarked that you showed me that you had 5,000 steps today while having a leg injury.
Right.
And I was like, at least 4,500 of those steps were in service to supporting people, getting them tea or like helping them.
Exactly.
When it was actually causing you pain. So.
No, it wasn't causing me pain. That's the secret, Austin. When you're in service, you don't feel pain. I did not feel pain when I was taking those 5,000 steps on an ankle injury. My ankle is swollen, yeah, and it's going to heal. But all my friends who are currently in town get out of town and I get to just rest. But I don't feel pain. Yeah. And that's something that I notice about being in service. It's like when you're giving, the universe gives you back.
Beautiful. Well, this exploration of intentionality from the very first moment where you were broke, making sales calls all the time, and you took that courageous step to discover the Silva Ultramind method, bring that platform online, going through all these various iterations of Vishen, creating Mindvalley, now looking towards the future of how can I bring education massively out there through an IPO. Wow. I'm so grateful to sit here with you and so grateful for our friendship.
Thank you, Austin. This was a great conversation.
For those that want to find out more about you, about Mindvalley, how can they do that?
Follow me on @Vishen,
Vishen.
Vishen, and check out Mindvalley, mindvalley.com.
Awesome. Beautiful.
Thank you, Austin.
Thank you, Vishen. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Modern Enlightenment. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to check out our website, subscribe to our online community, and check out our social media links in the show notes for more resources and updates.
And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast to stay connected with our upcoming episodes, where we continue to explore the intersection of modern science and spiritual wisdom. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep shining your light.